So I was about to head out to the movie theater, and it occurred to me that a lot of the movies that are out right now are remakes, sequels, homages, reboots, some other fancy word for not original. And I think about how there's so many people that are so sick of this. Give me something new and original. Dang it. And as I sat pondering this, I fell into a deep morass of suffering, pain, and hatred, descending deeper and deeper into the abyss of the inferno, being poked and prodded along the way by the demons of Hollywood, wondering the entire way down what had become of my world. When suddenly a mystical light had shone upon me, it told me, "Sean, you have been fooled. It does not have to be this way. Come, let me show you what originality really is." After that out-of-body experience, I realized that remakes and sequels are nothing new. When we think of movies that have aspects in them that we've seen before, read before, heard before, tasted before, we tend to think of the things that just came out, or that we just saw the preview for. Though you can't really blame us, I mean, that's what's right in front of us. But the earliest example I could find for a movie that was based on anything besides real life or a 100% original script came from 1896. It was called Trilby and Little Billy, the book of which had just come out in 1894. Think about it, we've got this brand new invention that recreates the function of the glorious human eye and creates moving images out of a rapid succession of still photographs. And we're like, this Trilby thing has got to be made, you guys! But of course it didn't stop there. In 1939, Judy Garland starred in a masterpiece film, Wizard of Oz. This film represented a technological breakthrough in that it was one of the first feature-length films to include color photography. In recent years, we've seen some remakes of that work. Some that people really liked. Some that people did not. But even with the good ones, I tend to hear people say, it's still not as good as the original. More often than not, when people mention the original Wizard of Oz, they're talking about the 1939 film by MGM. But what they don't know is that film itself is a remake. The Wizard of Oz is one of the most adapted works of all time. The story begins in 1900 when L. Frank Baum wrote the original novel as a political allegory about the gold standard. 2 years later, there was a stage play, The Wizard of Oz. In 1910, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz became the first celluloid representation of the story. Then The Patchwork Girl of Oz in 1914, His Majesty the Scarecrow of Oz and The Magic Cloak of Oz in 1914, The Wizard of Oz in 1925, and its sequel, The Land of Oz, which came out in 1932, The Wizard of Oz in 1933, and finally in 1939, Judy Garland donned the ruby slippers. But it didn't stop there. The Wonderful Land of Oz in 1969, Journey Back to Oz in 1971, even a Turkish Wizard of Oz, simply known as The Turkish Wizard of Oz, or Asazik V. Sihirli Sisular Ruyalar Ulkasinde. Everyone from Michael Jackson to James Franco and even the Muppets have been involved in adaptations over the years. They're following a rich tradition of applying old ideas to new contexts, taking relics from the past and bringing them into the glorious present. So does new Star Wars or Jurassic Park or superhero or YA dystopiaville novel really mean that we've gone artistically bankrupt? Nope. To me, I'd say that's just art being art, the same way it's always been, which I think is beautiful.